Welcome back everyone. This video we're going to look at ethical and socially responsible management in terms of human resources. So the human resource manager normally is fairly involved in actually shaping the company's ethical practices. So they can be involved in developing the code of conduct, which is the written down standards of how they expect employees to behave within the organisation. It's important that they have a clear understanding of all the relevant legislation for that could be for disputes, how to resolve disputes through conciliation, arbitration. They would be involved in writing up a dispute type policy where the steps to follow, who an employee goes to first in order to resolve a dispute. So all those kind of things they're involved in. So they're heavily involved in the ethical and socially responsible management. So this is more ethical, this type of thing. It's important that they're active in solving day-to-day issues. So if disputes where employees have been promoted or company resources have been misused, so they need to be able to deal with those things. These are just a couple of examples of ethical dilemmas that may arise that the human resource manager may be faced with or may have to deal with. Representation. So what often happens, the human resource manager is obviously employed by the organisation, but they may be called to act on behalf of an employee as a representative in a dispute. They may, on the other hand, be working with his employee but have to act on behalf of the employer. So it's just, how do they deal with that? Looking at both sides. Electronic privacy, so then they can't be looking up employees just for the sake of looking them up for interest's sake. And I suppose, is it ethical to be reading employees' emails if you have access to that information? Performance evaluations, that's where you're evaluating the performance of the employee, and the human resource manager needs to be able to appraise an employee fairly without being influenced by their personal feelings, whether those personal feelings are good or bad. So just because they don't get on with a particular employee, but the employee is doing good work, that should be dealt with fairly. And similar to promotions, it's important that if they're involved through the appraisals or through interviews that we're promoting or employing employees, they need to make sure that they're employing the person that best fits that role or the organisation, rather than just putting their friend forward for the job. In terms of social responsibility, we've spoken about this before, it's in the best interest of the organisation to look after its employees. And these are just a couple of things that some organisations do. They might have child minding facilities, they offer counselling. Many these days offer fitness facilities and personal trainers. Flexible working conditions we spoke about in a previous video for working conditions. Employee expectations, I should say. Having extended paid parental leave, rather than just meeting what the actual standard is and what the law says, going above and beyond. So all those things should result in a happier and more productive workplace. So it's important that the human resource manager is heavily involved in ethics and social responsibility. So for more videos and practice hacks, go to teachingbubble.com.